Okay, this is a review of the pH math. Quick review. This stuff's pretty easy, what I'm going to ask for you to do on the test or a quiz. So let's get started. The first thing we need to remember, pH plus POH equals 14. That's important. Now we get 14 from the pH scale, which is from the dissociation of water. It goes from 0 to 14 with, it's supposed to be a 4, 0 to 14 with water at 7. If it's above water, in between 7 and 14, we consider that a base. If it's below water, we consider that an acid. And by acid, what we mean is it has an OH plus and it donates. So write that a little better. By base, we mean it usually doesn't have an H plus. Instead, it has usually an OH minus, sometimes, and it accepts H plus. It accepts protons. Remember, this is also another word for proton. Okay, so that's what we're talking about here. So if I have a pH of 3, the POH equals 14 minus 3, which equals 11. Excellent. Now, if next equation we want to talk about is pH is equal to negative log of our H plus concentration. Now, our negative log of H plus concentration is our power associated with each one. So P refers to power or log. A log, this is another way to write an exponent or power. Powers, magical powers of exponents. Woo. So the pH equals 2.8. What is the H plus concentration? Well, to solve this is do a little bit of algebra. Divide by -1 on each side to remove our negative. Refers to negative 2.8. Is equal to the log of H plus. Now remember, those brackets mean concentration, amount per volume, or molarity. So I'll put that little note here. These are in units of molarity, moles per liter. So how do we reverse a log function? Well, remember, we're talking about exponents, and so a log of base 10, we were going to that will be our exponent and cancel off the log. We do on one side, we do on the other. So what we're left with is 10 to the negative 2.8 power. It's equal to the H plus concentration. So our formula for H plus concentration, if we're given the pH, is 10 caret to the negative pH. That's the entire equation. So that's great. That means every time we have a pH, we can calculate the H plus. And if we are given the H plus, we can calculate the pH using pH equals negative log of H plus. Finally, I want to talk about one more aspect. I'll talk about POH. Now, POH is the same thing as pH. It's the negative log of the OH ion. Or the OH ion is equal to 10 to the negative POH. Not pH, POH. Same as before, this gives us two really good equations to find out the POH if we're given the OH minus concentration. Remember, this is in molarity, moles per unit. Or if we're trying to find the molarity given the pH. These are the equations that we want to use. And last but not least, there's one more equation we can't forget about. M1 V1 equals M2 V2. Now, this is talking about our concentration times our volume equal to our concentration times our volume. This is in units of molarity. Moles per liter times liters will give us moles. And so where this is useful is when you're creating a dilution of an acidic or basic reaction. Now we know that the pH can tell us our H plus concentration. So if we have a 6 molar solution of HCl in 250 milliliters, what is the final molarity at 600 milliliters? Okay, so that's cool. M1V1 equals M2V2. The first molarity, 6, times my first volume, 250, is equal to X times my second volume. Both keeping our units the same, just as before. We know how to solve this. 6 times 25 divided by 600. Pull out my fancy calculator. 6 times 250 divided by 600. 2.5. Therefore, X equals a molarity of 2.5 moles. Now, as my volume increased, my molarity decreased. That's normal. That's what we want. Okay, so that's a quick review on pH math. Let me know if you have any questions. Have a great day.